Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to our live coverage here at DreamHack Open 2015. As Cloud9 have moved themselves one step closer to securing their major spot very shortly coming up. So, map number 2, Cash. Both of these teams have played Cash today, Natsu.
Yep.
Both teams won Cash pretty convincingly as well.
Yep.
So this has the makings of being a pretty sick, close map.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think Cash is one of the maps that I do enjoy myself watching the most. It's a very, very even battlefield, to be honest with you. It's among, I think, together with Dust 2, probably the most even. You see a lot of scorelines where on both sides teams are picking up more than 8 rounds. So I think it's a good round, a good map here. Both teams like to play this map as well. So I think, yeah, it's definitely going to be good. I think still it's slightly going to be favoring Cloud9, but Dignitas not going to make it easy for them.
Yeah, I think I definitely go along with that. I agree. I think Cloud9 will still be favourites, but I feel coming into this one, if I had to choose a map that I thought would potentially go the way of Dignitas, this would probably be it, to be honest. So yeah, but I'm expecting a pretty sick map. Yeah,
well, they can't afford the similar mistakes they did against Rocket here, Cloud9. There was some miscommunications, missed or not throwing a Molotov. Someone, Freakazoid, thought Shroud threw a Molotov to the boost spot. Shroud didn't do that. Freakazoid goes and picks middle, gets shot by Stonda, and then eventually they lost that round and actually went on a 6-round losing streak. So a lot of it contributed actually to some early picks towards that middle, and then Rocket hitting a site afterwards. So let's see if we see an adjustment from Cloud9 in that sense.
Of course, Cash is the kind of map where the AWPs can definitely shine. Skadoodle had some moments of brilliance on Inferno. Pimp had a couple moments as well, but I feel like both of them maybe with a bit of a point to prove here. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, Skadoodle was a bit, I guess, silent, I guess, from his normal standards. He's not had the best of days, actually, today. But at the same time, we saw him being there at the crucial moment for Cloud9, making some crucial shots in that B banana on Inferno. So definitely this map here is an up playing field for sure. You can just go around everywhere on the map and just be in danger to those terrorists trying to make an execute.
We also saw some of the riflers starting to step it up a few notches there as well in Inferno. Shroud had a couple of pretty big plays. MSL as well, you know, in the early stages of Dignitas' comeback as they found themselves 8-0 behind on Inferno, bagged themselves a couple of huge double and triple kills. So, you know, if these guys start to show up again, who knows? You know, Dignitas definitely could start to edge ahead. As I also agree with what you said as well, the Cash is a very even map in terms of, you know, it's not heavily favoured one way or the other. So even if you do have another horrendous start for Dignitas and they go like 7-0 behind, Cash is quite a forgiving map in that sense. You can still pull it back.
Oh yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see also what kind of a approach Cloud9 is going to bring to this map. Is it going to be the similar, very simple, fast-paced Counter-Strike on the T side as they showed on Inferno? Would actually be a viable way of playing Cash, to be honest with you, just hitting one of the bomb sites very fast. So let's see if Cloud9 just do that. Is Dignitas going to be ready after what happened on Inferno?
Also curious to see if Dignitas are going to assert their dominance on the T side through mid, because Cloud9 had this strat going where if they were going to push through main and they were going to push through on B side as well, they'd completely give up mid altogether. So if I think Dignitas start to play very mid-centric, they could get a bit of, well, they could get some rounds on the board at least.
Yep. Also an important, interesting fact for both teams on the CT side, what kind of an approach do they have on defending that B bomb site? Because it's the B bomb site on Cass is very hard to retake on that CT. If you lose all the control of it, it's going to be super hard. So what you want to have there is to have one player play site and then have either one playing that vent or be upper B as a guy that can instantly try to retaliate when you lose a player on that site. So let's see. It's going to be interesting to see here, especially on that late round, what kind of approach do both of these teams on the CT side do on that.
Of course, hovering over the aforementioned B site right now, as you can see on your screen, we are going to be playing Cash for map number 2, and if you have just joined us, map number 3, if we need it, will be Train, which I would actually love to watch. I think that would be a fantastic map to watch as well. But here we go. We are jumping live into the action. Yep.
Now we see Cloud9 here. They picked up a couple of smokes. They have a flash and a grenade to work with. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fast execute here coming up. Smoking a couple of key points. And Dignitas has a very, very defensive approach to that A side as well. They're giving up that side completely.
Yeah, and look at this as well. They're snaking their way around the back from MSL, and also AZ Going straight up through Garage. Here we go. They're taking effect. MSL's missed a few bullets. Finally, it's going to be AZ that takes him down. And the bomb has been planted, so now it's the retake on point from Dignitas. Skadoodle charges out, bags himself 2 frags, and a 3rd as well. Huge individual performance from him. And in doing so, probably just secured this round for Cloud9. AZ, who's the only player to have struck in the round, has doubled his digits, but what a fantastic solo effort from Skadoodle.
Oh yeah, just heroic plays from him, getting those 3 kills, but at the same time, I felt like that push from Dignitas was perfect. They caught up on those 2 players, but within those first couple of shots may have been the difference maker. If they managed to get that first kill right away and then shift their focus on that second guy, it could have all turned differently, but there we go, Skadoodle picking up that 2 and a triple kill there. Cloud9 going up 1-0.
Especially in rounds like Pistols as well, where utility is pretty much lacking. The chances of getting those 1 taps are pretty much that all separates, you know, a win from a loss. Getting those 3 frags just so crucial. It's so essential.
Yep. And again here, we see Cloud9 has actually opted to work with those max MP7s, even a Tech 9, and there are only 2 rifles to work with, but still a lot of nades.
Nice shot from Pimp. Is at least going to get Dignitas on the board in this round, but just drop in the ocean because the charge is coming onto the B side. AZ with the deagle. Could potentially bag himself a couple frags if his aim's on point here. I'm not sure if Cloud9 are going to give them the opportunity to do just that, however.
Yep, at this point, Dignitas the best they're hoping for some extra kills and try to make some economic dent here to Cloud9, but it seems like AZ is already together with, I think it's Snyder, all the way back on that seated spawn, just try to make sure they have those weapons to work with on that 3rd round. But a very methodical approach from Cloud9, just basically trying to feel out what Dignitas is doing again. Buying out a lot of utility to work with, to make sure you have everything you need to flush out potential stacks anywhere on any of the bomb, either of the bomb sites. And Cloud9 there, picking up that 2nd round, moving to the 3rd. See how things start panning out here.
Not bad weapons to save as well, actually, from Dignitas' viewpoint. Couple deagles, I think it was AZ and Kiabu who saved that for themselves. So on a map like Cash, where you get like long-range 1 deags in effect, that can definitely bring Cloud9 to their knees still. Yeah,
but I think it's a good approach from Dignitas once again, not over-committing to these rounds, not buying armors, making sure you have everything you need on that first weapon round.
Here comes the push, though, from Cloud9. MSL with the USP, his first in range. Full head armor, though, from Cloud9, so this pistol's definitely not going to be too efficient, and Schneider comes in, he tries to bag himself the frag, will be spraying with the CZ, has to relocate back to the boxes. But it is a stack towards the B side. Here comes Kiabu with the aforementioned deagle. He can't do anything with this, and neither can AZ so far. There we go, finally gets the frag, drops the bomb in front of him, but Freakazoid comes in with a double USP headshot, and just like that, Cloud9 take the 3-0 lead.
Yep, a much more simple approach there from Cloud9, just pushing that B bomb site right away and getting those 3 entry kills pretty much still in the deal within 20 seconds. So here comes the first real deal, the first weapon round. We see Dignitas actually opting not to go with that AWP. They have 5 M4s across the board, playing a bit of a 2-1-2 setup with just 1 guy playing passive in the middle.
Going for the boost as well. The Flames are going to stop AZ from peeking for now. And in fact, he's taken a lot of damage as well. But the Flames are just chasing him down. It's Sean Gaz that comes in for the first frag. There's Freakazoid as well. 2 huge entries from Cloud9. Opens up B. It's right for the taking. And it's all on Pimp to try and fend off this onslaught for now. In actual fact, judging by the fact that Dignitas still have 2 players on A, they are not interested in this round whatsoever.
Yep, like I said, Cash B bomb side is almost close to an impossible retake, definitely when you're in a 3-on-5 situation, unless your opponent starts to make a lot of mistakes. So, Cloud9 opted to go for that very simple approach again, getting those first 2 picks being the most important factor. Cloud9 getting that bomb down. It's looking to be a 4-0 scoreline. It's looking very similar to the beginning of Inferno, to be honest with you.
It certainly
Dignitas,
is.
They need to be more aware, more awake here on these rounds.
Oh, Kiabu.
He was definitely not aware.
Interesting. Yeah, especially after you just said that double spray potential from Schneider, but he can't connect enough of the shots to make that work, and it's all on Pimp. And I think, judging by his position, and more importantly, Cloud9's position, he will save that M4. But still, it's at the loss of a 4th round. And I feel like Kiabu died needlessly there, and that's an M4 that could make a lot of difference coming through into the next round.
I think most of the kills that Cloud9 got were sort of needless from a Dignitas point of view. Yeah. Just way too early before any commitment was actually made to either of the bomb sites. So, like, judging from all we've seen so far, Dignitas needs to start playing more passively and let Cloud9 try and execute and actually really committing to something on either of the sites instead of trying to take the early battles. It's obviously not working out for them so far, at least.
Double boost in from Cloud9. Probably going to have a pretty rough guess that Dignitas are going to be on a poor buy, to say the least. They do know that Pimp still has an M4, so they're still playing a bit wary, they're still being a bit cautious, respecting the potential from Dignitas. You can see Kyobu with the P250, just looking down, staring down from highway. Two players coming up, and the rest of Cloud9 filtering through on A, so just coming through with the execute onto A potentially. There's the Molotov at the back of the site, two of them to try and draw out players. Kyobu goes for the peek, he does get the frag, but he will instantly get traded back. Not a bad start from Dignitas though. Pimp needs to bring that M4 into play and start to spray down some terrorists if they're going to have any chance of picking up their first round. MSL's been picked off as well. This is solid from Cloud9, looking good for them. Pimp's going to go for the re-peek as well, onto nothing. Does take himself down the frag. But I think realizing there's no defuse kit on the side, just going to try and save that up for another round. So Cloud9 already with a 5-0 lead. I'm getting a bit of deja vu here, Natu.
Yep. A pretty smart play from Cloud9 there. Just taking it really slowly, not over-committing to anywhere. And using those Molotovs to flush out potential stacks, like we just mentioned before as well. Snyder here trying to get those kills. Just going down to Sean Gears though. But the good thing for Dignitas is Pimp manages to save this weapon potentially. I think he does, so that's a good thing going further. But yeah, so far it's been a rinse and repeat from that first map. Cloud9 just playing a very simple style of Counter-Strike, living off of those early picks they're managing to get. So if you're Dignitas, you just should play more passively. Make sure you're not giving those early kills. This time the change they're having is they're pushing the three guys in the middle. See what kind of change that has on this dynamic.
Yeah, so they're pushing middle while having double op setup. This is an interesting strat. And they have got a lot of ground covered in mid, but that's going to leave Schneider by himself for a few more moments with the op. There is at least a couple players coming up from highway, one of which is MSL, now residing behind the red container with the M4. They desperately need to start picking up rounds right here, right now. Kyobu jumping over, going to try and isolate off the terrorists and spray at them from the side. He misses his spray though. Sean Gears will punish him. And the second frag as well. It's all down to Pimp in a 1 versus 2. There's the first frag. This is such a crucial moment for Dignitas. You better believe Pimp knows it as well. Nothing, 25 HP, has the AK, spots him, and picks up the frag, and Cloud9 move to 6-0. That's gotta hurt.
It really does. Snyder there actually did a great job of staying alive as long as he did, being that scare there. Even though he got 0 kills, he had a huge impact on that round, getting that close. He could have been over much quicker there. Kills just going back and forth, and Pimp not managing to clutch that one. Nothing using that high ground in his advantage, even on low HP, managing to close it out. And you know, even though Dignitas made that difference and played that 3-1-3, it just didn't make a difference at all on that round.
They committed so much funds as well with the double AWP.
Yep. Now they'd have to do that force buy. See how that works for them.
Well, Cloud9 have taken casualties in the sense of Sean Gears' health bar down to 6. So very, very nearly dead, but still Cloud9 have consistently been getting the opening picks. They've been converting it into the bomb plants, and then from there on in it's been smooth sailing, so you couldn't even count them out just yet. MSL with an aggressive push here with the FAMAS. He gets picked off, and a second player as well. Nothing, just sprays down 2. And that in turn is B site crumbling once again for Dignitas.
Yep, Cloud9 not even having to actually execute again on a strat there, getting those early kills again. We see Dignitas trying to get those cheeky first kills, playing aggressive, and it's just not paying off for them at all. Let's see what Strata can pick off Kyobu as well, making it, well, impossible for Dignitas to do anything at this point. It's going to be a 5-on-2 situation, even though Sean Gears and Strata are really low. It's still going to be save time for Dignitas, and Cloud9 is going to be on the hunt, trying to get away those weapons that Dignitas is trying to save.
May very well be successful as well. Schneider's given his position away, obviously defending himself. Pimp, meanwhile, from quad is going to put down nothing. Still time to play with, though, for Cloud9. They can push in if they want to.
It's timeout time for Dignitas at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
They need to get and try and stop this ball from rolling any further at this point. I mean, like I pointed out, they've just been getting picked apart early on. Here we see nothing with these 2 kills. That second one being, well, through that smoke there, opening that B bomb side totally on his own before they even had to really do anything. Nothing getting those kills. So, Dignitas, you need to play more passively and let Cloud9 try to run in and do some kind of execution and taking that fight at that point instead of trying to force that first pick. Obviously not working for them. Here we see again, Dignitas playing that early aggression on that middle. Him getting roasted.
That Molotov.
To death.
Yeah, the barbecue's in. And also that double spray down was so smart from nothing, realizing the second player could push in. That being said, here we go, there's more smoke down. Kiabu is going to try and relocate, make sure the angle's as good as possible, but Cloud9 are just putting down the hammer.
Wow, it's more like a plow 9 right now.
It really
it's going
is.
left and right. Dignitas having no answers to anything. I think that was a key where Pimp died in that aggressive positioning in middle. Cloud9 was aware of that aggressiveness as AZ picks out Freakazoid, giving a bit of an economic down to Cloud9 there. Not making a huge difference in anything really. And now we see Dignitas actually making that pause. But yeah, I mean, I think Cloud9 realized that the aggression from Dignitas, and then the roasted Pimp who died. They realized it was probably going to be just one guy on that A site, so they made a really, really fast push on that A site. Just spent a couple Molotovs and smoke pushing that site. AZ still managing to stay alive. It's good for going further.
I think this is almost an identical time to when they called the timeout in the first map as well.
I think it's a round later, but pretty much the same, yep. And the situation is pretty much the same. It is like a replica of that first map as well. Cloud9 just playing really smart, reactive Counter-Strike, where they're basically giving all the opportunities right now. Dignitas is giving them the opportunity to react, and they are utilizing those situations to the fullest of what they can get, and just translating them all into rounds. It's time to cool off. What Zonic needs to say there right now is now we need to really just play more passively. We need to just let them run into us instead of us trying to force that first pick all the time, which is not working out at all. And Cloud9, obviously, they're making a lot of, they're making it seem this easy as well. It's them just reacting to things so well at this point that it's just making Dignitas seem like unable to do anything.
And again, that is almost a carbon copy of Inferno, because up until the pause, you saw Dignitas consistently pushing down Banana. You saw them peeking mid all the time, going through apps, getting picked off left, right, and center. And then as soon as the pause came in, they played passively, and they managed to steer at least the first half back into an acceptable scoreline. So let's see if they can emulate that once more here. And if they do indeed go for more passive play,
look at this push.
Stack on A.
Yep, look at this push. They're pushing door and A main. Finally getting a first pick. I think that's a first.
That actually might be, yeah. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess, and they do get the first frag. I think they also spotted the bomb potentially dropped. I can't quite catch if that's in main or just outside of main, but nothing again with 2, just up on boost, waiting, stalking his prey. And now Freakazoid is in touching distance of MSL. I think he's just spotted him, and there's the frag. And the pause initially works with this push, but it's all gone wayward again as Cloud9 in a 3 versus 1. Are in the perfect position to take the 9-0 scoreline. Pimp is all that stands between them and that result, and the bomb has just been planted, and he wants to save this for Mass more than likely.
So, Dignitas opting to go on that full aggression. 2 pushing door, 2 pushing, so nothing gets that last kill on Pimp as well. That's going to put Dignitas in a horrible situation. But yeah, Dignitas opting to go on that full aggressiveness, getting that first pick, Kjærbu did. But then they tried pushing even further, which I don't really understand. Nothing gets those kills, and then Freakazoid, who's already moved all the way to the CT connector, picks up a 3rd kill, and that's pretty much the round over. So, just making the matter even worse for Dignitas at this point.
I feel like they almost got baited in by the bomb being dropped. Yeah. It's like, we have to control the bomb, guys, but in doing so...
You don't really have to be
You make yourself vulnerable, exactly. And that's where we saw Nothing strike with 2 frags, and also a pretty sick last frag as well from him. He's definitely feeling it right now. As it stands, Dignitas are on the receiving end of a battering. MSL has once again given the Danes the momentary advantage, but it's being answered back from Skadoodle, who hasn't really had to do too much in this map so far. There's Schneider jumping down, first frag, looking for a second, gonna have to switch across to his sidearm, does finally get the frag for himself, and maybe this is where Dignitas finally back on the board once more. Sean Guess has to push in. He's been flashed, he's been fragged, and there we go. Now, if Dignitas can pull this back, I know this is a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts, but if they can get this back to 9-6,
yep,
I feel they've still got a fighting chance.
That is a workable situation on Cash, definitely. So we see here Snyder jumping in from that vent, getting that pick on Shroud, and then Skadoodle to end with, but MSL getting that first kill, obviously, just stopping that push, and then having that second guy rotate from through upper B, and getting a kill as well, even though he got traded. But still, that really stopped that push. And now we saw Dignitas playing the site, making sure Cloud9 has to commit before there's any kills traded. And it actually worked for Dignitas, so.
Aggression again, just paying out for Schneider. 2 frags for him. Kiebu has been fragged, and Schneider just jumps across for his third. Nothing comes in, but Schneider's there for a fourth. He's on for the AC, gets caught from behind, and Sean Gers answers back with 2 of his own. He's picked up 2 in this round, and now MSL coming up from the truck has been spotted, but Sean Gers slightly off on the aim, and he will pay the penalty of his life. But what a fantastic round that was.
That was pure madness back and forth there. Snyder picking up those 4 kills. Denied from the ace by Sean Garris, who tried to make it happen. Just lost that 1-on-1 in the end, but these are big rounds for Dignitas. The only huge problem at this point is the fact that 4 of them died. So going further, should they lose this one, they'd be in a world of trouble.
And that's always the curse of the counter-terrorists when you're behind a bunch of rounds. It's not just winning the round, it's winning them comfortably. That can factor in. MSL's in a good position if they don't check this, and indeed they don't. So again, Dignitas are getting the first couple of picks here. Cloud9 now reverting back to the passive play.
Just relentless aggressiveness for Dignitas still happening here. Schneider getting picked off from that team, A main T stairs.
2 plays very low on Cloud9 as well. Skadoodle on 4, Shroud on 10. And both of them are at the mercy of Kiebu, who keeps slamming the door in their face. The quintessential troll.
I don't think they're welcome.
No. This is his house. Not today. Pimp in a good position as well. That smoke may very well give away the play here from Cloud9. But in fairness, they haven't pushed out, so they're not going for the full-on aggression. They have a Molotov and a smoke in the hands of Shroud. A grenade and a flash, and that's a key frag from Freakazoid. The issue is, though, the strength in numbers, and there's Pimp with 2 frags. He gets traded out from Skadoodle, who's going to make this round a bit more interesting. But upon jumping up onto red containers, he's silenced. And Dignitas, again, they're getting the streak in their favor now.
Yep, and they really have to win out this half as well. But Cloud9 making it closely for Dignitas. There we had only 2 Dignitas players actually surviving that round. So that's going to force those 2 players to drop weapons for the remainder of the team. Meaning that they're still going to be in a lot of pressure when it comes to streaking these rounds together, because it's going to be super hard otherwise for the last couple of rounds.
Oh, that grenade hits Freakazoid in the face, and nearly half of his HP disintegrates before his eyes. Nothing, though, is going to chime in for the first frag. This leaves MSL by himself on the boxes at the back here, and he's quickly going to get charged down from Freakazoid. You could sense the blood in the water. AZ, meanwhile, trying to hold down from vents, but just delaying the inevitable because that bomb is going to get planted any second now from Cloud9. There we go. And now the CTs have to chase on, and Kiebu does get himself a frag, but it's at the cost of his teammate as well. And Sean Gers comes in with 2 frags. He's starting to step things up for Cloud9. And Pimp, realizing that his days are numbered, will just save the AWP for himself and his team. So yep. Cloud9 already on double digits on their T side of cash.
Yeah, and this is going to be the nightmare situation for Dignitas when it comes to their economy. It's going to be in shambles going into that next round. It would be very important for Pimp to try and save this AWP. See if he manages. Doesn't seem like Cloud9 is going to be able to find him in time, though, so he's going to be able to bring this to the next round. But yet another, just a simple round from Cloud9 pushing that B side, and you just gotta really appreciate the confidence that Freakazoid is showing nowadays. The way he's just pushing in the sides, as we see Sean Gers here, just 2 Tech9 kills. The Tech9 is still alive and kicking boys, it's still working. But yeah, Freakazoid is a very, very good, important player for Cloud9. Just the way he's built this self-confidence now is just fun to watch. The way he's pushing the sides and making it work and getting those early kills.
through and he hits his form, he can pretty much single-handedly just take a site. That's how strong he can be. So Dignitas now on a force. They're trying to just cling on for dear life.
This situation, they sort of had to do it. They had the op, so it made a lot of sense to force their 3-10 down. So you opt to do it.
Again, Cloud9, I mean, they're not doing anything that's like way too complicated. They're just playing very simple Counter-Strike, but they're executing it to perfection.
Yeah, it's just the way they're executing is impressive right now. They're taking their time. They're not over-committing. They're using all their utility they have, smoking off choke points. The MSL trying to flank there, but going down to Shongers. Easy though. Not managing that kill. It's going to be a difference maker here probably.
He gets both those frags. I think things could have been very different here, but as it stands, Pimp again is going to keep that antiqued AWP going through into the next round.
So yeah, I was listening in on Cloud9 playing previously, even though they had some communication issues in their first match, but it's just the way they were, when they were attacking sites, I think the most common word that was said was chill, 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 chill. Take it easy. We don't have to overcommit. We'll just take our time, we'll use our grenades, and we'll just see what's what, and that's when we're going to go when we know that it's going to be a favorable situation for us to actually go into this bomb site. So, especially when you're playing against a potential force buy, that's when things can get really scary. You may have that odd shotgun or Max 7, CZ, whatever, in an odd corner. You really want to take your time and take things easy when you're committing to a bomb site. So this is going to put Dignitas in another pretty horrific buy. Going to see a CZ's Deagles and an MP7 and an MP9 in action. Let's see how Dignitas fare with this.
I think it's a very good point that you raise as well, that sometimes players will get carried away, and if they get an entry, it's like, okay, we have to go in for this site, and in doing so you lose a couple players, and suddenly there's a chance for the opposition to strike back. This round, though, looks like it's going to be anything but simple for Dignitas as two players have fallen in quick succession. Make that a third. In fact, no, Freakazoid, I spoke too soon. I thought he had that kill in the bag. Does come and spin himself around, and Kiabu picks himself up another one. And they are cruising to a 12-3 halftime scoreline. And this map definitely isn't that favored towards terrorists. This is a very even map.
Yeah, I think it's slowly fading away from Dignitas at this point. There was opportunities to be had earlier on, but it was just way too many entry kills given out from Dignitas to Cloud9, making these rounds very simple for Cloud9. It's not like we saw any master super strategies from Cloud9. It was just very simple Counter-Strike, and it was all about those entry kills and utilizing them to the perfection.
And that's kind of how I felt when they played Roccat as well. You know, earlier when they managed to sweep aside Roccat. It wasn't necessarily anything spectacular that we were watching. It was just solid executes. It was like meat and potatoes Counter-Strike. nothing too,
I like that
too
comparison.
crazy. Just, you know, simple, healthy, hearty food. And, well, 12-3 just pretty much paints the picture for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Counter-Strike is a lot about reacting to what's happening. And when you're reacting in the right manner, when you get those entry kills, you're going to be winning a lot of rounds. You can lose a lot of rounds when you're reacting in not the correct manner. So it's this Cloud9 playing a very basic type of a Counter-Strike, but it's very much working. It's obvious to say that Dignitas really has to win this pistol round here, and they're opting for some kind of a set play here. Have a Molotov smoke. Let's see what happens.
I like the idea from Dignitas very quickly, just briskly moving through mid, and the fact that Schneider also gets the frag. Of course, he was the one player that was boosting everyone up. The good guy Schneider with the teamwork also bags himself a frag. MSL's going to drop down, and there again is the Zeus, and it is nothing. He seems to love that change. All you hear is a little scream from the character. You know what just happened. Skadoodle, meanwhile, has picked himself up a frag. He's looking for a second one as well, tapping across with the USP. The flashbang stops him for now, but that's going to give him a chance to finish off his reload animation. The grenade lands by his feet. That will silence him. This is a crucial round for Dignitas if they want to keep themselves in this best of three. If they lose this, I think it's almost a foot out of the race. But Sean Gez is there. Kiabu against Sean, who's going to come out ahead. There's no defuse kit on Sean Gez just yet, but I believe one may be quite close to one. The grab at Kiabu with the headshot will give Dignitas the second pistol round and gives them a very small glimmer of hope.
Yeah, a very back and forth round there. Dignitas doing that A split there through that connector and A main. Coming down to a 1-on-1 here, we see nothing with another Zeus kill. I think they're trying to go for that stat win on Zeus kills. I'm pretty sure.
I believe that's the third that nothing's got, and I think Freakazoid has himself 1 or 2 as well.
But a smart move from, I think it's a smart move from Cloud9 to another Zeus into town. Wow. Smart move from Cloud9 not to overcommit on this second round either, even though you're up this much. Okay, I'm just gonna end it there.
What could he do? I mean, the thing is, he's got himself not only this use kill, but then picks up the Mac 10, silences another Dignitas player. This smoke has completely stopped them from pushing in as well. The flashbang comes in, and now it's a 3-on-3. You feel that maybe order has been somewhat restored for Dignitas, but then AC's down to 10, so he's only a bullet away from death himself. Same could be said for Freakazoid, who just ate that grenade big time. It landed right next to him. He does get put out of his misery by Kiabu. Meanwhile, Schneider in the vent gets picked off from Skadoodle, who then bags himself the Galil. So what a strange round of Counter-Strike this has been, and there's still 45 seconds potentially of action coming up, but looks like Dignitas are going for the jugular. They've had enough of this messing around. Kiabu goes in, gets himself the frag. There's AZ as well. And Dignitas do lose 3 weapons though, so that was costly.
Oh yeah, and the Cloud9 not even investing a lot of money. It's basically just nothing. Using that Zeus and the Mac Daddy he picked up and getting those kills and giving that opportunity for Cloud9 to try and pick up that round. But yeah, it definitely made it super costly. Let's see what Cloud9 actually opts here to do when it comes to the purchase. Guessing they're just gonna go for a second save. Yep, it's a smart move. They have triple nades as well. Let's see how they utilize those.
And surprise, surprise, nothing has its use again. Who would have guessed? Tapping across with the Galil Schneider. The first frag comes through with Skadoodle though, and they have a very one-dimensional push here from the side of Dignitas. They've all gone through on the T side, and in doing so, that could leave them a bit vulnerable to the vent player. Nothing up on the ledge, nearly bags himself another one. That would have been beautiful, to be fair to him, but instead he falls down. And you know what, I'm just curious now, is the meta going to shift a tiny bit where Terrace will be forced to get more Molotovs to throw in these kind of corners in ecos?
Oh my, I mean, yeah, well, it was before as well, since CZs are pistols in general, and shotguns are very viable. So yeah, you want to have those Molotovs to work with, and Molotov those corners that you've seen C9 utilize definitely there. But just smart plays from Dignitas actually, not overcommitting that being downside and rotating to middle. Just took them out of trouble basically. I think it could have become really scrappy for Dignitas had they just run into B. So first weapon round actually here. See what happens. Double uptime for Cloud9 right off the bat.
Yeah, nothing and Skadoodle both bagging themselves the AWP. Both have Kevlar as well, so gonna be powerful till the end. But it's MSL who just charges straight in. They don't check quad, and that's going to be to their detriment. 3 quickfire frags. Freakazoid with 2 of them. Schneider does answer back in kind. 2 players remaining for Dignitas. They've picked themselves up 2 AWPs now, and will be looking to return the favor. But there is nothing. He chimes in. It's all on Pimp. He's been flashbanged. He's going to go for that repeat. Narrowly misses out on the shot, and he's about to get encircled from CT players. He's been dinked down to 4 HP. He still peeks and gets finished off from nothing. And that could be the last blow maybe to Dignitas.
Well, a very straight up play from Dignitas there, and A execution right off the pad. Freakazoid obviously being the big factor there. Playing on that upper platform, getting 2 picks, and Skadoodle chiming in as well. Make it into a 2-on-4 situation in favor of Cloud9. Pimp's still trying to make it happen, but obviously it's going to be super hard in that situation with 1-on-2 and the bomb down in that position. That's going to take Cloud9 3 rounds away from winning that series and basically qualifying for the major.
That flashbang absolutely wrecks Freakazoid, but nobody checks the spot, so it doesn't matter. It's effectively null and void. Shroud comes in with 2 frags as they run in conga lining their way to the site. They get punished. Schneider's all that remains. He's given his position away, and Shroud is there for yet another frag. As clear-cut as you could possibly ask for from Cloud9. And that's now 14 rounds to them.
Yeah, it's become close to impossible at this point for Dignitas. I'm not sure what the whole idea there was. They still had a viable buy. They could have done an execution. They could have worked it slowly, but instead they tried to lend a page for Cloud9's strat book of this evening and try to go for that straight A play super fast. Obviously not working at all. Kiabu though, starting off with a nifty little deagle kill.
Very nicely done.
It's a forced buy situation for Dignitas.
Nothing now is going to answer back in.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be very, very, very hard for them to make it happen, obviously. 6-14 down.
Well, Schneider's going to try and breathe newfound life into Dignitas's bones and maybe keep them going forward. That pop flash from Freakazoid is going to come in. There's the first frag. He does a lot of damage to Schneider as well, who just about survives with 2 HP. Meanwhile, nothing's going to peek through mid, catches a glimpse of Pimp, but unable to connect the shot. That will keep Pimp alive for a few more seconds. He's been tagged down to 7 as well. Freakazoid's in a great position to fend off this initial push. There's the first frag. He's going to be chased down by the second player, who is MSL. 35 seconds now left, and it is all on MSL. He's pushing onto the site. The flashbang forces Skadoodle to relocate to the back of the site itself. And in doing so, MSL's able to get himself some ground on the board. He spots the player, doesn't land any of the spray whatsoever, and in doing so now, he's down to 11 HP. 18 seconds. He has control of the bomb, but of course, as soon as he goes to plant, he's more than likely going to get shut down. In fact, it's just Nothing who drives by with the P2000. And now, Dignitas. I mean, do they have a hope? Do they, Natu?
No, not really. I think it's too far gone at this point.
I want to believe.
I want to be a believer. I'm afraid I'm not.
I just can't.
It's a 6-15 situation, and Cloud9 there just pushing Dignitas' buttons, and Dignitas is they're gonna be super disappointed in their performance.
Today as well, Dignitas have started with like a 6 or 7 round deficit.
Yep.
Just out of nowhere, like very slow starting. That's something they've got to fix going through into the future. Because you can see the kind of effect it has on you. It's Cloud9 now. They're going to have to try and stop this one. You can see again players running past Freakazoid, but there's heavy flashes down. Can't necessarily blame them. It's going to be 3 frags in quick succession from Dignitas. This gives them maybe this round. But it's not necessarily the short term that we're looking towards. It's the long term. Because if Dignitas make a single mistake in the upcoming 10 or so rounds, they are going to lose straight up. That grenade does quite a bit of damage to MSL. Here comes the retake in effect from Cloud9. The flashes are still landing. Sean Gares with a double kill with the M4. Leaves Kiabu by himself. The bomb is still ticking down. If they play this one right, it should be Cloud9's round now. They're going for the defuse. Nothing connects it. He's just about got enough time as well. Cloud9 will pick up the map and indeed the best of 3.
And they've just qualified for the major as well. In what a fashion as well. I mean, they were just dominating. You just gotta hand it to them. Obviously, getting those early advantages, being up 7 and 8-0 on both maps is huge. And what it came out of was just very simple Counter-Strike. It's not like they had to do anything weird. They were just playing by their first picks that they managed to get round after round after round. And Dignitas just wasn't able to. They were just not able to adjust their gameplay.
It's really difficult to look at that and analyze it, really, because, as you say, it was simple CS, it was effective CS, the better team won. I don't think there's any doubting that one. But we are going to throw it back to the studio, guys. That's it done for this best of 3. We have one more best of 3 coming up. Take it away.
Yeah, impressive stuff. Cloud9, they now make it through, and how fitting that they're the first team to do so, because quite frankly, a lot of people were surprised they didn't already qualify by making it into the playoffs at the last major, but fitting fashion, they do it, not dropping a single map today. DDK, impressive starts on both.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw the performance at the start of the day, it's like, okay, what's going on here? Cloud9 won the king form that we're used to seeing them in. Obviously, they really turned it on for Dignitas. They gave them a lot of respect. And most notably, they were winning so heavily on the T sides. And Dignitas and Danish teams in particular have always been great at CT sides. They've got a lot of aim. They've got a lot of understanding of how the game works. But that, to me, really suggested that Cloud9 were just in the kind of like form that we expect to see when they're getting like really deep runs of tournaments. Like their last tournament win was against TSM. They played out of their minds, and we started to see the real reflection of that. So it's nice to see that the balance has been restored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is impressive stuff, and it looked a little bit slow, to be honest, in the first game this morning when they did play against Rocket. But we'll get back to this conversation. A lot to talk about, including Zeus kills. But first and foremost, we do have the interview standing by with Jordan Nothing Gilbert.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Hey, I like that. We got you doing the segue. That's fantastic. Firstly, though, commiserations to Dignitas. Great team. I think a lot of potential with the new lineup with Schneider and stuff. But on the flip side, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so C9 now qualified for the major. That must be awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, Dignitas is a good team, so we're happy to be able to go beat them 2-0.
Okay, so let's talk about the match a bit. Inferno, you start, well, both maps, actually, you start off insanely strong on both T sides. I think the first one was 7-0, and then on Cash it was 9-0.
Yeah, I mean, I can't act like we did anything super special. We kind of just had a quicker pace. Got the pistol rounds help a lot. And then on Inferno, that first wrap round we won where we kind of got into a pinch at wrap and everything got smoked off and we were somehow able to get out of it. That was a big round to establish it. And then you saw they had to take that pause, 7th round Inferno. And so put them on their heels quick. And yeah, we did a good job. Kudos to Sean and the boys for closing rounds out.
Is there anything that you're doing in particular on your pistol rounds that's giving you this consistency for winning them?
Not necessarily, because I don't know if consistency is the right word for our pistol rounds over the last couple months, but this event we got the pistol rounds and it shows how much it helps any team in CSGO economically, especially a caller like Sean. Sean calls really well when we have our economy on T side especially, so yeah.
And something quite similar to pistols, but a slightly weirder version than a pistol is the Zeus. We've seen a bunch of Zeus play going on. What's your opinion on the weapon, and how did you decide to suddenly start using it as a team? And was it talked about, or was it more spontaneous?
In a lot of situations, it doesn't really hurt the economy to spend $100, and when teams are throwing smokes and they're jumping through smokes, or there's any tight corridor, you can get Zeus kills. You saw that one play where I was above the guys. If I was actually just a little bit more patient, dropped and ran behind them, I probably would have got one. And I don't know about the second, but same happened in our Dust 2 game earlier today versus Mixcat. I think Sean, they stopped a B rush when we were CT side, and if I was with Sean, we'd probably get 2 Zeus kills and maybe a 3rd kill based off the pickup. So it's just something that it's an instant kill. It's like a mobile op, you know, and it's pretty funny and yeah, it's useful.
Well, I'm sure the fact that it's been reduced to $100 plays into that slightly.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like I said, economically, most times it doesn't matter to pick one up, especially on pistol round. When you buy armors like a CT or T, you have that $100 left. Why not?
And for that reason, do you think potentially it could do with a nerf? Because you're paying for it for very little consequence, even if you die without making kill.
Yeah, that's kind of the game Valve's plays when they introduce something new. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple months I saw them increase the price to 200, so you couldn't get it on pistols or something. But yeah, I'm gonna keep. I have some more tricks up our sleeve we haven't showed yet for the Zeus rounds. All
right, so I guess we'll have to wait for them. And will we be able to see some of that at the major?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. We look forward to it. I think next event's Australia and then the major. So we got to hide it in Australia, prioritize the major here. But yeah.
I didn't know you were heading over to Australia, so Melbourne, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good luck for that. And then final question then, going into the major. You must be, of course, like as we already established, excited, but are you now, like, what's the practice schedule? What are you going to be doing going forwards to practice as a team and really, like, make yourselves the strongest possible C9 that you can be?
Well, there's a lot of debate on how teams like to get ready for tournaments. There's a team like Fnatic who prefers not to even have a boot camp and play at home. And then, our team in the past is known to boot camp the 9 days up or a week up to event. We might try to mix it up this time to make sure we're not burnt out at the tournament. But we definitely have some things to freshen up on our CT sides. We didn't have time to implement all of them, and we didn't even play all the maps we fixed some of our CT sides on. So the major is going to be hard to tell. It's an awesome event. We're always excited to play it. I think we're going to just try a little bit different approach to our preparation this time, and I guess I'll tell you guys more at the major.
Well, it sounds absolutely awesome. Good to speak to you again. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to your team. And any final words, or is that it?
No, yeah, thanks to DreamHack and Open and Paulo, my boy, and Mark, and all the guys on the table. We look forward to the major. And yeah, if you want to know more about Cloud9, head to our website, cloud9.gg.
All right, well, we're going to head back over to the desk, and there we have it. Our first qualifiers from this DreamHack Stockholm is Cloud9.
Definitely personality on that team. But Paula touched on exactly where I wanted to go, the Zeus topic. We've got a collection of Zeus kills from this series, but it's now a part of the meta, being only $100. And I think it might have been you, Yanko, or maybe it was Paula that asked, should it be removed from the game entirely? I don't necessarily agree with that, but definitely a price increase has to be considered. I don't know if you guys agree.
I mean, you come from COD, so what can we expect?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, Semler. We were having a serious panel. I don't know who invited you this weekend.
Well, Thorin isn't here, so I gotta try and help him out a little bit, in spirit.
It's fine. It's fine. We're just not going to invite you back. This is my couch, Semler. I can do what I want.
Okay.
You're not passing the casting test on my couch. So, Dan, how do you think about all this?
I don't agree with it because, generally speaking, for me, like a good principle when it comes to like the game design with like competitive esports, I feel like you should always maintain the integrity of the skill ceiling. Like you can make changes. It is, of course, like my opinion. You can make changes which impact the skill ceiling by raising it or creating like variables within it. But if you ever like are decreasing options or decreasing the skill ceiling anyway, then I think that's bad. And I feel like that's what the Zeus actually does, because from the same range, you could use a pistol which is like less cost efficient, because $100 for a kill, that's pretty cost efficient. So
I think that's the main thing here, and it's, you know, I'm glad that you mentioned pistols, because, you know, for all of the time that we spent railing against how lethal the pistols are at a certain range, P250, Tech 9, 5.7, I mean, it's just it seems ridiculous that you can walk up for a $100 investment and remove somebody from the map who has made a $4,800 investment at least, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't, you know, that's the thing. That's how shocking it is that this would even, you know, be envisioned, right? It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous that this would even make it into the game or make it past testing, right? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Dan. But to me, it's just, it just completely defaces, you know, what we're all about here.
And I agree with all these points. And we did see on the first one there, though, the Zeus kill came out, and he didn't have time to redraw the pistol, which then got him killed. We saw it as well at London. We've seen more Zeus kills here than in London, but we saw a lot of people trying it, and at a consequence of putting themselves, you remember the Envious pistol round on Mirage where standing, okay, that one was a little bit silly. They had a big lead, but the point is people are putting themselves in awkward positions. Is there any benefit to it at all? Is there any...
Well, think about it. On a pistol round, right? Now, instead of buying a decoy nade, which is virtually useless, I mean, nobody gets caught by a decoy decoy fake anymore. You know, you're not going to think that's a flash nade. So it's literally useless to have a decoy nade. Instead, you can still buy Kevlar, but for $100, you can maybe one-shot somebody, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And on an eco round, even more so, because you want
on an eco round, hell yeah.
You're hitting them up close too, so you can pick up their weapon.
Even on a hard eco round, right, where it's just like, okay, you know, really we got to save every dollar. That $100 investment is actually sounding pretty damn good.
Big deal.
That's even like in pistols, like for CTs, yeah. So whether you have USP or P2000, it's much better at long range than at close range. That's what you want to try and do, like get the long range duels. So when you're like, even if you're out of ammo, close range, Glocks are rushing, you just pull out a Zeus, take one guy with you. Like
but you just hit it on the head, right? You know, it's like the USP P2K, you're supposed to be able to take those long range fights. The Glock up close is supposed to be the danger, and now all of a sudden the CTs for $100 have a way to
gives you an alternative.
It's ludicrous.
Let's shift back a little bit to the game, and more importantly on those pistol rounds, someone who did use a pistol. This is the start of Cash, and Skadoodle kind of bailed out Cloud9 here in a way. Yanko, you wanted to bring this to light because they were pinched in the site.
Yeah, this was like, okay, this is like the Skadoodle show.
Oh, excuse me, I guess we're starting on Inferno.
Yeah, it doesn't matter much. Like here we can also see, like, this is kind of a setup that,
here we go.
This is the pistol round. Okay, so in this pistol round you could see, like, before this happened, Dignitas pushed main. I mean, they got from behind of C9 players. They got a kill, so C9 was pinched inside from like all sides. So Skadoodle like made the correct decision at that point. He went like for a high risk play. He pushed to the smoke because he realized if they all just stand inside and hold their positions, they're gonna get picked off by the remaining Dignitas players. I think that round is a great example of how of like decision making and how like fast-paced CS is, and he bailed them out that turn. And you heard Jordan say in an interview that like Sean is very good in calling like when they get that economy going, and they were up 9-0 in that half. Imagine if they lost the pistol round, who knows what could have happened. It might have been much more interesting.
And in starting with those two maps, two big leads, they have now qualified for the major, and obviously takes a lot of pressure off them. They were a team, like I said at the start of this segment, that would have expected to make it into the playoff segment last time after all their results that led up to that major, and now they can breathe easy. They're done. Dignitas aren't out yet, but let's talk about them because they play again on Saturday in a decider match, and the issue for them in this series was obviously that they had slow starts. Both games, massive leads for Cloud9 on T sides.
Yeah, you simply cannot expect to win a game against a team like Cloud9 if you lose both pistols and the follow-up rounds. So if you're down 6-0 at the start of both halves, like combined, they were even down 8-0 as CT on Inferno, 9-0 as CT on Cash. So that's some. I mean, the good part is that now they have 3 days of boot camping here at the hotel, so they have time to fix those little issues. They'll also know who they're playing against, like after this match. So they definitely have a chance to fix those up. As for the match against C9, it was pretty straightforward, like all the way, as the guys casting mentioned. Like there's nothing you can do at that point with such weak city halves.
And to take it even further, they also had a slow start on the same map on Inferno against Immunity. Similar though, from your point of view, Dignitas moving forward, how again they've got to dodge a bullet now because this is another situation where they are going to be playing an elimination decider match on Saturday after not making majors leading up to this. Does that apply that much more pressure for them?
I don't think so, because I think that they're one of the teams that had one of the more clear-cut groups, where there's a pretty clear tier system going into this group, where it's like, okay, Cloud9 are the favorite, Dignitas are second, and then it kind of gets fuzzy between the two remaining teams, right? Because you have a mixed team basically coming out of Finland, and then an Australian team who have yet to really prove themselves at an international LAN. So as far as the group is concerned, when you're looking at it objectively, you're just like, okay, this is kind of how it should break down. And a team with Dignitas' experience in international LANs, even with the recent roster change in Schneider, they shouldn't fall to any of the teams that are still left here in this group. This should be one of the more clear-cut matches that we will get Saturday, at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's always upset potential. That's the beauty of CS or any competitive game, but really, like, the odds of that happening should be astronomically high.
Dan, what about you, though? What potentially that they need to look at fixing from today? We talked a little bit about Pimp, and obviously he stepped up on Inferno, but
yes,
overall.
it's one of those weird things where things just kind of aren't coming together when it comes to some of the team coordination. Because again, like this struggle on the CT side is a real issue, and it's again like against Cloud9 looked a lot worse, but against Immunity, a team where Dignitas are they outskill them. Dignitas pound for pound outskill that team. So in theory, with like a map like Inferno, which they have so much experience on, there's definitely like coordination issues. Like it's a lot of little things basically, and that wasn't really panning out for them. So sometimes you just have these days where it's like hard to say, okay, this is going wrong or that is going wrong. It's just like a lot of small things, I think, when it comes to timings of just playing around your teammates on certain setups, reading certain situations. So just a little bit off on some of these CT sides, and it's not being too effective.
I feel like this best of three is a good example of why people force so much, like teams like MVS. It's exactly because you don't want to give the opposing team a strong start, like for them to be up 3-0 or 5-0, because it's so difficult like to come back from that point, because they have confidence, first of all, like to do basically whatever they want. And you can see C9 did a great job like on both maps, basically, especially on Inferno. After they were up 3-0 the first couple gun rounds, like they just played extremely fast-paced. First it was A side, the second gun round it was the B side. So by playing like that, that's the same thing MV does. You're forcing, like later on in the half, you force the CT side to like throw their nades earlier, to throw incendiaries earlier, grenades, smokes, whatever. So at that point you can just completely slow down the tempo, slow down the pace, and you'll have like between 30 and 45 seconds, it depends, when the CTs will be out of their nades. And at that point you can do a different type of an execute, and you can mix stuff up, and that's like exactly why you want to like don't want to allow the Ts to have a good start.
That's actually a really, really important note, because we do talk about Inferno being one of the maps that the choke points rely on those smokes and Molotovs, and when they're gone, I mean, we look at teams like Envy and even Luminosity, who are really good T-side about like, all right, let's push a little bit, back off, smokes down, Molotov's gone, let's go. Over the skybox into B. I mean, that's a really, really good point as well, and hats off to you for noticing it first off, but also, is that something Dignitas...
I know a couple of things, Matt.
Do you? Oh,
I'm not here because of my looks, you know.
Really? Well, thank God, because it barely got you here in the first place, Yanko.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I like it. He's warming up to this. He's getting there. But Dan, for you, I mean, from that perspective, switching that around to the other foot, is that something Dignitas need to be more aware of, or?
I'm showing self-restraint. I'm pretty proud of myself right now.
Yeah.
You do it, Sam. Like, come
I was about to say with that suit, you don't have anything going for you either.
All right,
okay,
that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to build
still
off
working
of,
on your look. Well, eventually I'll perfect it, and then you won't be able to talk. You'll just be making fun of yourself, Semler.
Hey guys,
we're caught in the middle here.
Yeah, you
like
guys got to save some of this.
We need
we're
to
going to be doing this like 4 more days.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have saved
After
this,
this
man.
weekend with London, I mean, everything's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Survive for it. Like,
There's no rules.
But yeah, like this is like a really good point, because when you look at the two sides contrasting, CT and T side, like some teams, you have this like thing with mixes, right, where mixes will definitely find the T side easier, because okay, we can kind of use our individual skill to just go around and create openings and so on. But then it tends to like fall apart a little bit against really good CT sides and in the high level. But what we had here is like two different situations for Dignitas, because of course they are already a top level side. They had this issue similar to the mixed problem but for a different reason. Like they're a very well coordinated team, and it's very different to an actual plans which you've rehearsed and like everybody knows on the team, okay, if you have like these checklists, basically like, okay, if this happens, we do this. If this happens, we do this. If we get this information, we do this. This is our game plan. We can push it onto the opponents. So that like is kind of can be easier if your team is actually off on hitting their shots, because you always like are moving and doing stuff. But if with the CT side, because it's more defensive, more reactive, if you're kind of just a little bit off when it comes to the individual skill, like there's less to back you up. I feel like that can be harder if you're off your game playing the CT side. So I mean that's like a bit just a theory that I have on one of the reasons why they're struggling. But yeah, I still have no doubts they're going to make it through. I said it was set in the stars. I think it's written in stone. I think it's been prophesized. I think it's happening. So
is it? All right. Well,
yeah.
Let's see. But first and foremost, Cloud9 are the first team to make it through. We do have one more match tonight. It is an elimination match. Our first team will be dead and gone, and the winner will play Dignitas, like you said. And that is going to be the mixed team, Mixcat, now Brocat, and of course Dignitas, or rather, excuse me, Immunity, who did lose to Dignitas to get dropped down into that game. We'll get to that in a minute. We are going to take a break, but first thoughts heading into that game.
Well, I believe it's going to be really interesting since both teams have similar map pools. Like Immunity prefers classic maps, Rocket as well being a mixed team. I'd like just to point out that if Immunity plays individually like they played on Cash, they definitely need to step up.
All right, well, as we see, teams are getting ready. A little highlight back there from Pimp. We are going to jump to the break right now, and when we come back, it's going to be about 10 after 9. We'll start the next best of 3. We'll see you then.
Approach that side as well. They're giving up that side completely.
Yeah, and look at this as well. They're snaking their way around the back from MSL and also AZ going straight up through Garage. Here we go. They're taking effect. MSL's missed a few bullets. Finally, it's going to be AZ that takes him down, and the bomb has been planted. So now it's the retake on point from Dignitas. Skadoodle charges out, bags himself 2 frags, and a 3rd as well. Huge individual performance from him. And in doing so, probably just secured this round for Cloud9. AZ, who's the only player to have struck in the round, has doubled his digits, but what a fantastic solo effort from Skadoodle.
Oh yeah, just heroic plays from him, getting those 3 kills, but at the same time, I felt like that push from Dignitas was perfect. They caught up on those 2 players, but within those first couple of shots may have been the difference maker. If they managed to get that first kill right away and then shift their focus on that second guy, it could have all turned differently, but there we go, Skadoodle picking up that 2 and a triple kill there. Cloud9 going up 1-0.
Especially in rounds like Pistols as well, where utility is pretty much lacking. The chances of getting those 1 taps are pretty much that all separates, you know, a win from a loss. Getting those 3 frags is just so crucial. It's so essential.
Yeah. And again here, we see Cloud9 has actually opted to work with those max MP7s, even a Tech 9, and there are only 2 rifles to work with, but still a lot of nades.
Nice shot from Pimp. He's at least going to get Dignitas on the board in this round, but just drop in the ocean because the charge is coming onto the B side. AZ with the D. Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to our live coverage here at DreamHack Open 2015. As Cloud9 have moved themselves one step closer to securing their major spot very shortly coming up. So, map number 2, Cash. Both of these teams have played Cash today, Natsu.
Yep.
Both teams won Cash pretty convincingly as well.
Yep.
So this has the makings of being a pretty sick, close map.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the fact of the matter is I think Cash is one of the maps that I do enjoy myself watching the most. It's a very, very even battlefield, to be honest with you. It's among, I think, together with Dust 2, probably the most even. You see a lot of scorelines where on both sides teams are picking up more than 8 rounds. So I think it's a good round, a good map here. Both teams like to play this map as well. So I think, yeah, it's definitely going to be good. I think still it's slightly going to be favoring Cloud9, but Dignitas is not going to make it easy for them.
Yeah, I think I definitely go along with that. I agree. I think Cloud9 will still be favourites, but I feel coming into this one, if I had to choose a map that I thought would potentially go the way of Dignitas, this would probably be it, to be honest. So
yeah, but
I'm expecting a pretty sick map.
Yeah, well, they can't afford the similar mistakes they did against Rocket here, Cloud9. There was some miscommunications, missed or not throwing a Molotov. Someone, Freakazoid, thought Shroud threw a Molotov to the boost spot. Shroud didn't do that. Freakazoid goes and picks middle, gets shot by Stonda, and then eventually they lost that round and actually went on a 6-round losing streak. So a lot of it contributed.
Eagle Could potentially bag himself a couple frags if his aim's on point here. I'm not sure if Cloud9 are going to give them the opportunity to do just that, however.
Yep, at this point, Dignitas the best thing they're hoping for. Some extra kills and try to make some economic dent here to Cloud9, but it seems like AZ is already together with, I think it's Snyder, all the way back on that seated spawn, just try to make sure they have those weapons to work with on this, on that third round. But a very methodical approach from Cloud9, just basically trying to feel out what Dignitas is doing again. Buying out a lot of utility to work with, to make sure you have everything you need to flush out potential stacks anywhere on any of the bomb, either of the bomb sites. And Cloud9 there, picking up that second round, moving to the third. See how things start panning out here.
Not bad weapons to save as well, actually, from Dignitas' viewpoint. Couple Deagles, I think it was AZ and Kiabu who saved that for themselves. So on a map like Cash, where you get like long-range 1-Deags in effect, that can definitely bring Cloud9 to their knees still.
Yep, I think it's a good approach from Dignitas once again. Not over-committing to these rounds, not buying armors, making sure you have everything you need on that first weapon round.
Here comes the push, though, from Cloud9. MSL with the USP. His first in range. Full head armor, though, from Cloud9, so this pistol's definitely not going to be too efficient, and Schneider comes in, he tries to bag himself the frag, will be spraying with the CZ, has to relocate back to the boxes. But it is a stack towards the B side. Here comes Kiabu with the aforementioned Deagle. He can't do anything with this, and neither can AZ so far.
Actually, to some early picks towards that middle, and then Rocket hitting a site afterwards. So let's see if we see an adjustment from Cloud9 in that sense.
Of course, Cash is the kind of map where the AWPs can definitely shine. Skadoodle had some moments of brilliance on Inferno. Pimp had a couple moments as well, but I feel like both of them maybe with a bit of a point to prove here. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, Skadoodle was a bit, I guess, silent, I guess, from his normal standards. He's not had the best days, actually, today. But at the same time, we saw him being there at the crucial moment for Cloud9, making some crucial shots in that B banana on Inferno. So definitely this map here is an up playing field for sure. You can just go around everywhere on the map and just be in danger of those terrorists trying to make an execute.
We also saw some of the riflers starting to step it up a few notches there as well in Inferno. Shroud had a couple of pretty big plays. MSL as well, you know, the early stages of Dignitas' comeback as they found themselves 8-0 behind on Inferno, bagged themselves a couple of huge double and triple kills. So, you know, if these guys start to show up again, who knows? You know, Dignitas definitely could start to edge ahead. As I also agree with what you said as well, the Cash is a very even map in terms of, you know, it's not heavily favored one way or the other. So even if you do have another horrendous start for Dignitas and they go like 7-0 behind, Cash is quite a forgiving map in that sense. You can still pull it back.
Oh yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see also what kind of a approach Cloud9 is going to bring to this map. Is it going to be the similar, very simple, fast-paced Counter-Strike on the T side as they showed on Inferno? Would actually be a viable way of playing Cash, to be honest with you, just hitting one of the bomb sites very fast. So let's see if Cloud9 does do that. Is Dignitas going to be ready after what happened on Inferno?
Also curious to see if Dignitas are going to assert their dominance on the T side through mid, because Cloud9 had this strat going where if they were going to push through main and they were going to push through on B side as well, they'd completely give up mid altogether. So if I think Dignitas start to play very mid-centric, they could get a bit of, well, they could get some rounds on the board at least.
Yep, also an important, interesting fact for both teams on the CT side. What kind of an approach do they have on defending that B bomb site? Because it's the B bomb site on Cass is very hard to retake on that CT. If you lose all the control of it, it's going to be super hard. So what you want to have there is to have one player play site and then have either one playing that vent or be upper B as a guy that can instantly try to retaliate when you lose a player on that site. So let's see, it's going to be interesting to see here, especially on that late round, what kind of approach do both of these teams on the CT side do on that.
Of course, hovering over the aforementioned B site right now, as you can see on your screen, we are going to be playing Cash for map number 2, and if you have just joined us, map number 3, if we need it, will be Train, which I would actually love to watch. I think that would be a fantastic map to watch as well. But here we go, we are jumping live into the action.
Yep, now we see Cloud9 here. They picked up a couple of smokes. They have a flash and a grenade to work with. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fast execute here coming up, smoking a couple of key points. And Dignitas has a very, very defensive